Hello guys, Brad here again, and I came up with a list of statements, and I'm going to read each statement and then give my thoughts on each statement. I thought this would be a fun little exercise. Maybe this would once again stir up some nice conversation in the fragrance community, maybe even get some response videos to all or part of it. I think it's a fun little exercise, so let's go ahead and get started here. First one. Number one, bad pronunciation is an indication that a reviewer doesn't have a clue. I'm going to say false. I mean, first of all, I think when you first start reviewing, I don't see how anybody can expect you to know how to pronounce all of these French words. There's a lot of words out there in perfumery that are French, difficult to pronounce if you're American. Of course, if you do written reviews, it's not even an issue, so nobody would ever even consider, questioning their, ability to pronounce a word. But if you're doing videos, all of a sudden everything that comes out of your mouth is judged as, being improper or whatever. So I would say, if somebody's mispronouncing a word, you want to just say, hey, you mispronounced that word. Think of it as a learning experience. Try to do better next time and move on. Don't necessarily say, well, this guy can't even pronounce it. How can he review it? Number two, top selling fragrances are all boring, generic garbage. Once again, I say that is false. A lot of people are, trashing a lot of these top sellers like Spice Bomb or 1 Million, Bleu de Chanel, Acqua di Gio, and I think that's a shame because I think they're top sellers for a reason. You could say, well, the sales associates are pushing them, or there's hundreds of thousands of dollars of advertising put into those fragrances, and that's the only reason why they're popular. I would say one of the reasons why they're popular is because they smell good. I mean, there might be some exceptions based on taste, but for the most part, top sellers are a good starting point for anybody that's getting into fragrances. Number three, if a fragrance is hyped, then it's probably a piece of crap. Well, I'm going to say half and half on this one. Certainly, we've seen many cases where a fragrance was hyped, and then maybe a year down the line, nobody talks about it anymore. Some people argue that people don't care about pure malt anymore now that it's no longer discontinued, or every so often a fragrance gets hyped and all of a sudden people don't care for it as much as they used to or try to sell it. So I would be careful about hyped fragrances. But as with any reviewer or review, you just have to be careful. Just maybe get a sample, check it out, and see for yourself. Don't necessarily blind buy a full bottle just based on hype. Number four, the best way to get views in the fragrance community is to create drama. Again, that's half and half. Some people love to see a good dramatic video. Some people just want to stick with the reviews and avoid all that nonsense. It depends on what you're in it for. I know when I first started, it was all about reviews. I mean, there really wasn't any drama because, reviewers just basically did reviews. Now we have people doing all kinds of things that are not really reviews, discussions and controversy and things like that. And I enjoy that myself, but I know a lot of people don't. So to each their own that way. Number five, if you wear a fragrance introduced before 1980, you'll smell like an old man. Well, once again, that's based on taste. Personally, I'm not a big fan of vintage fragrances. I do like Fahrenheit a little bit and Dracar Noir, stuff like that. I'm not the type of person that's gonna, wear a lot of these older Chanels or whatnot, because I like the more modern fragrances. So, figure out what your taste is. Maybe get a decanter sample and see how you feel about these vintage fragrances. But, for the most part, I do think people are going to like the more modern fragrances better in today's society because that's what people expect. That's what they're more accustomed to smelling. Number six, all fragrances should be marketed as unisex. I'm going to say false there as well. And the reason for that is this. I know a lot of people say, well, all fragrances are technically unisex. Anybody can wear anything. But I think when you first start out, you do want some guidelines. You don't want to have to look at a big block of fragrances that are mostly for women and try to decide which one of those are masculine and feminine, let alone which ones you're going to want to buy. So try to keep it, I say for designer especially, keep it separate, masculine, feminine, and then with the niche fragrances, then I think it's okay to go unisex because people have more refined taste and know more what they're looking for. Number 7, YouTube fragrance reviewers get all kinds of freebies and incentives to get positive reviews. False. What I'm basically trying to say is some people accuse people of giving positive reviews to fragrances because they got a free bottle from the manufacturer. That's certainly never been the case with me. If you watch my channel, you know that I don't hesitate to bash a fragrance if I don't like it. I know that's the case with a lot of other reviewers as well. Most of the freebies that I get, and I'm sure this is the case with everybody, is probably either a sample or maybe something you got from a fellow reviewer, maybe even had to pay for it. Very rarely have I gotten full-size bottles, and the best I think I've done from an actual representative of a company is like a little half-ounce bottle of Guérinès or something like that. But that was after I've already reviewed it. That was more of a reward than an incentive. So, it didn't really change my review because the review was already, on my channel. Number 8, YouTube fragrance reviewers should quit after about 2 or 3 years. Certainly, it is very difficult to stay passionate and to keep reviewing for more than about 2 or 3 years. I know there's only a couple reviewers that I can think of that have been doing this as long or longer than I have. Mark and Dan. Of course, a few others have been doing it for a long time as well, like Al. But for the most part, we do see reviewers come and go. And, it's just the nature of the community. People acquire fragrances, they have their collection, and they just want to enjoy those fragrances. They want to stop reviewing because there's not really a lot of incentive to be a reviewer besides just the satisfaction of giving back. So I do appreciate when reviewers stick around. I think that's commendable. But if they leave, well, that's their personal choice, and I wish them all the best. Number 9, if you make too many videos, people will get upset and stop watching. That's an interesting thing, I think. I do a lot of videos, and my views seem to be kind of low sometimes. Maybe people do take my channel for granted because of all the videos I do. Maybe they just don't like my videos. I don't know what to tell you. But I do think if you leave and come back, sometimes that does generate more interest in your channel. I think what Mark does is great. He kind of goes away and comes back, and it builds up some suspense and renews interest both for him and for the viewers. But yeah, I'm not really sure what to think about that. I mean, I basically watch anything that I think is interesting. If I don't think it's interesting, I won't watch it. So I guess that's the final word on that. And number 10, high production values are important when making videos. Personally, I think high production is basically just icing on the cake. I would rather just see a reviewer put out lots of content, knowledgeable, intelligent content. If the high production values is going to slow that process down, then I think it's not necessarily a good thing. And I know maybe some reviewers say that low resolution gives them a headache. If you have a medical condition and it prevents you from watching my videos, sorry about that. I don't really think I should have to apologize for that. I'd be like a chocolate company apologizing to diabetics for making chocolate or something. Doesn't make sense. People are going to watch what they want to watch. I'm just trying to have fun. This is the best I'm going to give. Take it or leave it. So that's pretty much it. My 10 responses to 10 statements there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.